It's always been about making me a better version of me, making my environment something that sustained me, without being quite as me-centric as that sounds. I'm from a little village in the English countryside called Tidworth on the Hampshire-Wiltshire borders. I remember starting to paint in early adolescence, like about the age of 11, 12. I think we had painting by numbers sets as when you fill in an outline. I still fill in an outline, but I make my own outlines. But I think I'm very influenced by painting by numbers. I think I saw a program on Jackson Pollock on television, which would be black and white, and they would have been taking the piss out of him. I remember going outside and I would pour paint and let the wind blow the paint in different directions, dropping the paint from different height onto a canvas that was on the floor. It was the time I first got into music as well, and they sort of go hand in hand. I probably, along with many others, used to have a portable radio which I would have in the bed at night, and undercover would listen to something called Radio Luxembourg, which would play pop music. So I went to architecture school, and the first day I was there they sent us out sketching. Everybody got damned until they got to mine. They said, you know, we think this is fabulous. We really like this, but we think it's absolutely useless for an architecture student. You should be at art school. That was my first day. I started to discover a look that I thought was vaguely beat, but I didn't really know anything about that. It was just something that I somehow caught. Then I suppose I started getting an identifiable look when I did this to my hair and this to my eyebrows. And I still do this with eye makeup, not tattoo, because I can change my mind. I have a daily look, which doesn't really change very much. You're not going to see too much change. You will, but you won't. I always have a white shirt and always white shoes and socks. And then I change jacket, tie, accessories. These are all from paintings I've done, in fact. The tie is from a portrait I did from his arrest photo. And I thought, oh, man on the edge. I didn't know he was going to go over the edge as soon as he did. This is a portrait of an artist friend called Luciana Martinez. She was a very strong woman who had her own look. So she died unexpectedly, and she left me money in her will, and that's what I bought my first computer with. And the first thing I did on the computer, I had this picture that was a postcard that I'd been turning into a collage. Then I magnified the face close up, and it was the first time I did it, and I thought, shit, if I change the colour here, it's Luciana. But then there were lots of people who were interesting. The unknown band that I was seeing every week was the Rolling Stones. I had no idea they were going to go on to be the Rolling Stones. I mean, I thought they were great. Then my flatmates had a band, and they used to rehearse at home. And I used to think, God, I wish they'd get some rhythm, and I put on some soul music as loud so I could get better rhythm, please. That was Pink Floyd. And I moved into this flat with Sid Barrett. At first he was very charming, he was very witty, he was very charismatic, he was very handsome, he was talented. It was a privilege to be around him. Then he got ultimately very withdrawn, very lost, very difficult to be around, very sad to be around, very uncomfortable to be around. I think when I moved in here, I was in a particularly good creative phase and he wasn't. He would be lying there thinking, while I'm lying in bed, I've got infinite possibility. If I make a decision, I'm lessening my possibilities, so he never made the decision. But that's not good for you. I think the longer you're not engaged, the harder it is to get back to it. But when one is engaged, it's a pleasure to pick up a paintbrush. But then it becomes a battle to make the paint do what you want it to do. I shared homes with so many people who destroyed themselves one way or another. Talented, creative people. And I learnt to withdraw. I learnt to be part of, but not be part of. I'm pretty good at learning to say no. I think learning to say no is a big lesson that you have to learn. So I'm open, but I'm cautious.